Revelations on the Ramadan Case. The story, protagonists, entrapment, judges, and political and ideological bias. The Ramadan affair began far before the first complaint was filed in October 2017. As far back as 2009, there were people, mostly anonymous, who would post comments and videos on the internet in order to tarnish the reputation of Professor Tariq Ramadan. One of them, named Majda, was in contact with Ramadan's detractors as early as 2010 and had made her connections known. Another is a retired journalist named ENTRAPMENT, and the pro-Israeli and supporter of the propagandist Femin movement, Caroline Fourest, and the far-right activist Alain Soral. In 2011, Gilles Kepel informed a journalist that Ramadan's image would soon fall apart, while in 2017, an official from the French intelligence service informs Tariq Ramadan that he was under surveillance and was being targeted. Even before the Harvey Weinstein affair began, bloggers sought out information to use against Professor Tariq Ramadan, sometimes offering remuneration for testimonies in order to destroy the scholar's reputation. Even before the first complaint was ever filed, both the Israeli-French paparazzi, Jean-Claude Elfassi, and ENML called on several women to testify against Tariq Ramadan on their blogs. Hinda Ayari filed a complaint on October 20th, 2017. She has since given several contradictory versions and false dates. She has also lied to the judges and provided them with falsified documents. She claimed that the events occurred in April 2012, but according to the Criminal Division's reports, she had contacted Caroline Fourest years before, in 2009, and said on record that she had been directed by Alain Soral to deceive Tariq Ramadan. She was also in contact with the three other complainants, as well as with Jean-Claude Elfassi. Christelle, the second plaintiff, filed a complaint on October 27, 2017. She also blatantly lied during her depositions. She has confessed to having created fake social media and email accounts, both under the name of Tariq Ramadan as well as under other imaginary female names. She exchanged false communications between these made-up accounts. Furthermore, she claimed not to have known the other plaintiffs, but in actuality she communicated between 2009 and 2017 with not only Hinda Ayari and Brigitte, the Swiss complainant, but also with Caroline Fourest, Yasmine Kepel, Alain Soral, Antoine Sfer, the prosecutor Michel Debac, Ian Hamel, and Jean-Claude Elfassi, all notable opponents of Professor Tariq Ramadan. The Criminal Division also discovered that between May and November 2017, Caroline Fourest exchanged 156 text messages and phone calls with Hinda Ayari and 116 with Christelle. In November 2017, Jean-Claude Elfassi claimed on Israeli television I-24 that he had collected a dozen testimonies from the internet and new complaints against Tariq Ramadan would soon follow. He also revealed that he had communicated with the Swiss complainant Brigitte. It was found out that Brigitte had been in contact with Christelle as early as 2009. In an exchange of emails uncovered by the Criminal Division, both were talking about entrapping Tariq Ramadan by arranging a meeting in a hotel room and arranging for a paparazzi to take photos. Brigitte has also talked about another entrapment plan with Khalil Zigindi, a Belgian blogger who publicly said he wanted to bring down Tariq Ramadan. In effect, the Swiss plaintiff has been communicating with Majda, Elfassi, Hamel, Soral, and Fourest for 10 years. Media reports stated that a complaint had been filed in the United States. This alleged complaint was conveyed by Caroline Fourest's collaborators in the United States. a pro-Trump researcher named Ayman Jawad al-Tamimi and pro-Israeli activist Daniel Pipes published tweets announcing the complaint from a woman, a colleague of al-Tamimi's, who was working for the U.S. military and intelligence department. This complaint was never filed and actually does not even exist. Between 2004 and 2010, Pipes had campaigned to ban Professor Tariq Ramadan from entering the United States. Mounia Rabouche filed a complaint on March 7, 2018. 2 days before, on March 5th, the Israeli-French paparazzi Jean-Claude Elfassi not only knew about the complaint, but he had already sent her photo to the media. Meanwhile, Mounia had confessed to her own brother Mohammed that she had filed the complaint for financial reasons. In September 2018, Mounia publicly denounced Jean-Claude Elfassi and her own lawyer, Francis Spiner, for manipulating and pushing her to file a false rape complaint. She spoke of broken promises and agreements of money exchange. A new complaint was filed in May 2019 by a journalist who called herself Elvira. She said she was raped by Tariq Ramadan and another man on May 23, 2014 in Lyon, when on the same day Professor Tariq Ramadan was on a flight from London to Baltimore to attend a conference in the United States. It turned out that Jean-Claude Elfassi is also a close friend of Elvira and has openly appeared with her on social media platforms. In November 2019, Elvira published posts and spoke of Elfassi's involvement in the case and said that she wanted to withdraw her complaint. After 2.5 years of investigation, the judges have not heard any of the people involved in this case. What is totally inconceivable and quite disturbing with regards to this case is that the judges have disregarded the plain facts and the criminal division's investigation findings, which they themselves requested. Recently, they demanded an expert opinion from the psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Zagouri to find out whether the plaintiffs were under psychological grip. Using this terminology is preposterous in this context. The accusers have known each other for many years. They were in contact with Dr. Tariq Ramadan's opponents extensively and over a long period of time. They spoke to each other about entrapment plans before they had even met him. Not only were they caught lying to the judges numerous times, but they attempted to blackmail Tariq Ramadan afterwards. It is clear that the use of this terminology is a weak attempt to shift the case away from the many findings and proofs that point to Professor Tariq Ramadan's innocence. Furthermore, Dr. Zagouri is a member of the scientific committee of Shibboleth Research Center, whose publications and activities demonstrate a double ideological orientation. On the one hand, Shibboleth is radically pro-Zionist, while on the other, it is opposed to all forms of political Islam, as they claim it is strongly associated with fascism, totalitarianism, violence, and terrorism. They once organized a conference on the Muslim Brotherhood, the last totalitarian ideology, during which Professor Tariq Ramadan was cited and criticized many times. Among the main members of Shibboleth are essayists and pro-Israeli activists who have taken a public stand against Tariq Ramadan. They have systematically linked him for over 15 years to the totalitarian ideology of the Muslim Brotherhood and Islamic extremism. There are no less than 16 members in this organization who are declared enemies of Tariq Ramadan, including Philippe Val, Frédéric Ancel, Shmuel Trigano, Michael Prazon, Pascal Bruckner, and Pierre-André Taguieff. Dr. Zagouri himself works on the issue of Islam and the radicalization and is a biased critic. Thus, the ideological orientation of Dr. Zagouri and the content of the research work which he endorses raises serious questions. Who would believe that Dr. Zagouri could produce an objective scientific expertise, devoid of any bias? The way this investigation is being conducted is shocking. Is pursuing the truth the primary objective of the judges? The presumption of innocence has not been respected, nor the secrecy of the investigation. The goal, despite the overwhelming evidence proving Dr. Ramadan's innocence, has been to destroy the man's reputation, cut him off from his followers, divide Muslims, and above all, to neutralize intellectuals and leaders who dare to speak up and criticize political or imperial powers or denounce injustices, whether in France, Palestine, Yemen, China, or Africa. French, American, Israeli, Saudi, Emirati, and Chinese authorities have repeatedly warned Professor Ramadan and had even explicitly threatened him. But he has long decided that he would not be silent. The case is simply a concerted attempt to carry out a moral, intellectual, and political assassination. After more than 2 years of investigations, and in light of all the facts put out in this video, it is indeed astounding that the judges have not yet asked to hear from any of Dr. Ramadan's enemies. It is scandalous that the consistent lies of the plaintiffs who plot, scheme, and know each other are still presented as credible in public or the courts. Worse still, the investigative judges not only are prolonging a case devoid of any rape or crime, but have been trying to save face by asking a psychiatrist who has a clear ideological bias to prove that there could have been a psychological grip. We must certainly ask ourselves, as conscientious and free citizens, under whose ideological grip and under what political influence are the judges prosecuting this case?